Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem HaRachakodash, and double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So this was put up today, June 21st. It's regarding Turkey, Erdogan. Okay, this is the president of Turkey. He says, Israel's attacks aim to sabotage Iran nuclear talks. Now, before World War III happens, like right now it's being brewed up, which is good. It essentially has got a push and the stage is being set. However, there's still one major move that has to happen before World War III actually kicks off. There's still just one major step that has to happen. And according to biblical prophecy, okay, because World War III is prophesied in the Bible, you can definitely tell by the way things are going that we, and I mean our generation, we're definitely going to see it in our lifetime. But according to biblical prophecy, there's still one major move that has to happen prior to this whole thing kicking off, and that is the country known as Turkey to abandon its ties with America and Israel and join forces with Russia. It's prophesied that's what's the major move that's going to have to happen first. So it says here, we'll read this. It says June 21st, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said on Saturday that Israel's attacks on Iran right before a new round of nuclear talks with the United States aimed to sabotage the negotiations and showed Israel did not want to resolve things through diplomacy. Because a few days ago, he actually said that his response to all of this is to load up his defenses. Let me pull it up. So a few days ago, this was put up, post by Middle East Eye. 2 days ago, he says he vows to fully independent defense industry amid Israel-Iran conflict. So what he said was, a few days ago, he announced on Wednesday that his country's defense industry will become fully independent, producing its own warplanes, tanks, drones, frigates, as Israel and Iran trade strikes for the sixth day. Quote, we will further increase our domestic and national production rate. We will have raised from 20% to 80%. So from what he's saying, in case that happens to him, or probably most likely because he knows what the future beholds, he's trying to make sure he strengthens his own defense. Like, okay, cool. But now today, and also in that he basically said that there's still time for talk. You know, Israel and Iran can resolve this through diplomacy. So today he said, but judging by their actions, they don't want to talk. So going back to the article, it says, speaking at foreign ministers meeting at the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Istanbul, Erdogan urged countries with influence over Israel not to listen to its, quote, poison, and to seek a solution to the fighting via dialogue without allowing a wider conflict. He also called on Muslim countries to increase their efforts to impose punitive measures against Israel on the basis of international law and United Nations resolutions. So from here, he's just taking that point that he does not agree with what's going on over there. He's calling out Esau for not wanting to actually negotiate and to stop the attacks. Because, Turkey is an Islamic country. And so is the Palestinians and so forth. So from what he's saying, he's showing that he does not agree with what's happening. And he's basically openly speaking against it. And it's important because Turkey is a part of NATO, and NATO, America is a part of NATO, which makes Israel an ally. So, by on contractual terms, Turkey is an ally with America and Israel. So, what does the prophecy say? Right? In Ezekiel 38, starting at verse 4, he's talking to Gog, right, which is Russia. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." These are the countries. It says Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. And currently, Russia has good communication and unity with Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya. Okay, it says all of them with shield and helmet. And it also says, verse 6, it says, "Gomer and all his bands, the house of Tagomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, be thou a guard unto them." So Gomer and Tagomar. And if you look at an ancient biblical map, such as this one, you will see that Gomer and Tagomar, now today is called Turkey, east and west of Turkey. So Gomar and Tagomar, which is the east and west of Turkey, is going to march down there with Gog, as well as Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. So for that to happen, that will mean that Turkey would have to sever its ties with Babylon and join forces with Russia. Now, we know that they're already talking about it for a few years now. They were talking about it, so that's good. So it's being talks now, and with this war that's actually happening, you know, we keeping our eye on Turkey because we can say, okay, because that's really the next big move, which that still has to happen before all those countries go marching down in there and say, okay, you know, enough is enough. We had enough of you damn Edomites. So until Turkey actually does that, okay, then we'll really know that World War III could happen like right then and there. The stage is being set. So that's one of the main things that has to happen for World War III. Now we know, of course, that microchip, which is the mark of the beast, still has to occur. So they're still going to have to push forward to creating a setting for it. Right? This is Matthew 24. Verse 34, Yahushua says, "Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." So everything that's written has to happen. And that's one of the major prophecies that has to happen. That's one of, how to say, major steps. And that's how you know that World War III can happen like anytime. Right now it's being brewed. It's good either way, because this is how the beast is going to start to hate the whore. The magnifying glass is hovered over Esau now, especially those damn rats, which is good. And it's going to be like that for moving forward. Okay, Scripture says the wicked must be revealed. So now these devils are going to be under a scope moving forward, period. They won't ever be able to spin their web of victimhood over the world ever again. That's over with. And also the talks of peace is over with. When the Iranian president and Trump are actually talking smack online, and Trump is literally saying, "We know where your head leader is, and we can kill him anytime." The moment you start talking about killing each other, oh, the talk of peace is over with. Ain't no talk of peace now. You know, they're literally bold on the internet talking about we're gonna kill rats. Persia, like, we're gonna keep bombing these rats. We got surprises. The talks of discussion is over with. So ain't no discussion. But as you can see, people like Iran are trying to use, you can say they're trying to exhaust all the options before they up and make the jump. But the Lord's going to put the spirit on them to just do it. So it's gonna happen. So from what he's saying, he's venting frustration with Israel and America, but eventually he's gonna make that step. As Proverbs 16 says, the preparations of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord Yahweh. And Proverbs 21 says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will. So prophetic wise, that is a major step that's going to happen. It's going to happen because the Lord said it's going to happen. But moving forward, things are definitely going to speed up because, like I said, the wicked is being revealed, which is Esau, Edom. He's going to have to create a setting, right, with martial law. We see that coming into play. And then there's going to be a persecution of the prophets, which is going to lead into famine of the word. All these things are going to happen prior until before, because World War III is when the Lord comes back. So when he comes back, when the war that kicks off, it's game over. And that's when he comes, and that's when we get delivered. I did a lesson titled Three Major Prophecies You See, Three Prophecies You See Happening in Real Time. One of them being Revelation 16, where it talks about the angel poured a vial upon the Euphrates River to dry it up to make way for the kings. And that's actually really already happened. And Russia has actually built a bridge over the Euphrates so that they can get to Iran faster. Look it up. This happened. This already happened. The other one being Ezekiel 38, where eventually Turkey would have to join allies with Russia. And amongst the talk of the BRICS nations, Turkey is already saying that they're going to be looking to join Russia and all. And that's been happening they've been talking like that for a few years ago. And then the third one, I believe, was, the death penalty, because that's basically in the scriptures. And Donald Trump, one of his first bills was that he's trying to get the death penalty back. So he's trying to create the Roman society empire in real time all over again. And so he's going to create this system that's going to, really call, we were talking about it yesterday, but the American people, they're joking about how, like, they're going to say, like, if America doesn't want to go to war, then you're going to be labeled anti-Semitic. And they're saying that because they did that in the past. I did a video, I uploaded a video on my channel, I believe it was called To Be Anti-Wars, To Be Anti-Semitic, which is what they said in the past. So, that's their key word to label you, to make you, to bring anything to pass. They could just say, oh, you're this, you're anti. So, when they go to persecute the believers, they're going to use that as fuel. They're going to say anybody who calls himself an Israelite is considered anti, because they're getting too much heat over there. They're getting their thigh has been exposed, and they only know one tactic to get people to try to be quiet, to silence them, is to just label them somebody who's damn near a terrorist, so that they, by paper, can then be justified in just stripping you of your rights, coming and lock you up, and do whatever they want. That's their way of silencing you. They use deception. Jeremiah 49:10 says, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And I believe there's also a scripture that says, make bare the thigh. Oh yeah, Isaiah 47, dealing with Babylon. Verse 2, it says, take the millstones, grind the mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Okay, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, I will not meet thee as a man. So Esau's going to be fully exposed before he comes down. And part of his exposure is just people calling him out who they are. They're the devil. And this devil only knows one way to try to shut people up, and that's just to prescribe mystery by law and say anybody who dare calls himself an Israelite, who says this, who says that, they got like a whole document of what they deem so-called anti-Semitic. It's like 10-13 rules, and it's all because it's the truth. Oh, if anybody says that they run Hollywood, or if anybody says that they own the media, or if anybody says that they're behind 9/11, or if anybody says this and this and that, because they've been exposed, so they're just going to write it in the law. Anybody who call us out is anti. So eventually they're going to say anybody who calls himself an Israelite is anti, because you're going to have to ask the question: if the real Jews are the so-called Negroes, then who are they? And they don't like to be questioned, so they're just going to pass these rules in the land of Babylon. Okay, it ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that's going to happen, but that major move that has to happen is that Turkey has to cut its ties with NATO, join forces with Russia. That's one of the major moves that has to happen before World War III can kick off. And then the other things, like we said, like the microchip. So keep your eye on that pertaining to Ezekiel 38. And this is important because you have Israelite groups that teach that Ezekiel 38 isn't what we're saying. They're telling you that Ezekiel 38 is going to happen basically after the kingdom. No, it's going to happen prior to the kingdom. And that's the major move that has to happen before World War III. Shalom.